really good quote by Benjamin Franklin says, by failing to prepare, we are preparing to fail. Okay, have you ever thought deeply about that quote? I mean, it's really profound if you think about it. On the surface, we might say that, you might hear that being said, and of course you can substitute preparation for planning. So oftentimes you'll see it that way. By failing to plan, you are planning to fail. Okay, and it's true. And when you think deeply on that quote, I think it'd be very profound, and I think it would be very helpful to understanding it. And there are basically three things that I took away from that quote with regards to preparation or planning. And I wanted to share them with you. Okay, so the first one is that by preparing or by planning, we are engaging in purposeful action. Okay, so preparation and planning, purposeful action. When we don't do that, when we don't prepare and we don't plan, it becomes reactive action. Okay, it becomes like, what do I need to do? What is required to get me through, this day or this week? Okay, as opposed to deliberate action. And there's a huge difference there. And one is reactive and one is proactive. And so by preparing or by planning, we can be proactive. Okay, so that's the first thing, is purposeful action. Preparation or planning leads to purposeful action. And by the way, that gets us to where we want to go. Okay, much faster than reactive action. Being proactive is going to get us to where we want to go faster. Okay, and there's some other tools and techniques that you can use to be able to do that, but that's not what I want to talk about in this video. Okay, so again, the first is purposeful action. The second is by preparation and planning, we have more control, I should say, not total control, but more control over our circumstances. Okay, we can have a good amount of control, but just by doing that planning and preparation. We know what we need to do. We know what we're capable of doing within certain constraints and limitations. Okay, but if we don't know what's going on, then we're not in control, first of all, and we're not being purposeful. Okay, so they definitely work together. So you want to be in control and you want to be purposeful. Planning and preparation help you to do that, at least to a further degree. Okay, here an analogy that I like to use is, you can think of any system, okay, any organization, any homestead, any business as a black box. Okay, this is big black box. Okay, and in the black box has inputs and it has outputs. Okay, so for a homestead, it might be the inputs are coming in. You've got feed coming in. You've got money coming in from work that helps you maintain the property, and you have the animals and all that kind of stuff that are coming in. And then you have all the stuff that's going on in the black box. And then you have your outputs. Okay, so you have your eggs from your chickens, you have meat from your animals, you have the vegetables and the fruits and the nuts that you grow. Okay, those are all those things, inputs, outputs. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, a lot of us don't really know what's going on in that black box. Okay, we really don't know what's going on inside of that black box, right? We don't know how much it actually costs to get the eggs on the other side, or the vegetables, or the meat, or whatever. We don't know how much we're spending in maintenance every single year on the road or on our equipment. We don't know, how much we're spending on a lot of different things. And I use money as an example because, right, we all have to pay attention to that. That's for sure. Okay, so the black box is a mystery to a lot of us. If we're honest with ourselves, we would know that and admit that we're not super familiar with what's going on in that black box. So the goal then is to cut all kinds of windows into that black box and so we can understand what's going on. So part of this is planning and preparation. We're counting the cost. We're tracking things. Okay, in order to do that, in order to count the cost and to track things, you got to plan and you got to prepare. Okay, so that would be the second thing. Okay, so we have purposeful action and we have a control, and part of that control is understanding what's going on and part of understanding what's going on is planning and preparation. Okay, now the final thing, the third thing that planning and preparation helps to do for us is it helps hold things together. Yes, it helps hold things together. And what I mean by that is that everything falls apart. Okay, the tendency, the natural order of things is to fall apart over time. Okay, it's entropy, right? We build houses. The houses fall apart over time. The houses require maintenance. We build a road. The road falls apart over time. It requires maintenance. Okay, our bodies fall apart over time. It requires maintenance. Okay, and on and on and on, right? And a homestead falls apart. Our fences fall apart. It all falls apart, right? All of our buildings, all of it. Okay, planning and preparation help to hold those things together. If we're not planning and preparing, entropy is probably getting a hold of us. Okay, and that's literally, and and otherwise. Okay, so we can look at it in that way. We can say to ourselves, like, if I don't plan or prepare, things are going to fall apart on me. And it's the same thing with any system. Okay, any system, any business. If you're not measuring it, okay, if you're not doing purposeful action, if you're not planning and preparing, it's going to fall apart, right? And it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing with us, like even if our habits and our routines. You can establish a good routine, a good morning routine, and right? And if you don't pay attention to that, if you don't stick with that, if you don't be purposeful about that, it will fall apart over time, right? And that's kind of the underlying idea behind that. Okay, so I just wanted to share those three things with you, based on the kind of inspired from Benjamin Franklin's quote, is to be purposeful. Okay, so we plan and prepare in order to be purposeful, to provide and have purposeful action. The second thing is that we have some measure of control over what we're doing, and we need to be able to look and understand what's going on in order to have control. And then the third thing is it helps us hold things together, because the natural order of things is to fall apart. All right, I'll leave you with that, and you can enjoy Benjamin Franklin's quote.